Asia. I started business in Asia. I worked in a very high stress, high speed environment. It was like the 90s of Singapore when I'm taking the public transport. I'm still paying in coins, and I get we have OMNi, we have Uber, we have Glovo, we have Rappi, and everyone is just using the application. It's like a habit-forming product. It made me realize that, hey, this place is definitely a place where I can really introduce a lot of digital solution. It's really like brand infrastructure, setting up the team. The way to approach business has never changed.
I will start by saying that I'm really happy to see you here and have a chance to talk to you. I'd like to start with a personal question instead of jumping right into the pragmatic business matters. And
thank you for having me as well. Really appreciate the opportunity to be part of this. Happy to share whatever I know.
So I'd like to start with a question that basically for your profile, you've been giving a number of talks and you're a mentor as well. And you have a huge number of followers on LinkedIn. I'm really impressed. And I just wonder, why do you do this? Why do you cut off the time from the business and you just give back to the community? What is the reason behind?
Yeah, sure. I think first of all, for me, I think it's important to share my experience, my knowledge to any entrepreneurs that's out there. Because I've been through the hard way before. I know it's how tough to run a startup, and it's not that easy. And with my sharing, it's a form of contributing to help other entrepreneurs to avoid the mistake I have made. So to help them better understand the situation, how can they do better than me? And of course, sharing this knowledge is also an opportunity for me to learn as well. When I'm an entrepreneur myself. I meet people that's very focused or expertise in the Pacific area. They can share with me their knowledge as well. Say, hey, Eric, this is my input and everything. It's a form of learning for me as well. So it's a two-way traffic. It's sharing, to let other people learn to avoid mistakes. At the same time, I'm also learning from the people that's sharing with me about their experience. At the same time, with this, two-way traffic, it creates a kind of a minimum, a friendship. The maximum will be like a partnership. From this conversation we have, from people, from the expert, it kind of form a partnership within my company, or at worst case scenario, a friendship like you and me. So that's the reason why I'm focusing a lot on sharing my knowledge, developments of my company, or some of the things that I would like to highlight through my entrepreneurial journey.
And if I would ask you, what was the speech or the discussion that you remember the most out of all the discussions you had, what would it be? Which one?
So I think one of the most impactful experience was there's a 14-year-old boy. After he saw my posting and sharing about entrepreneurship, he dropped me a private message on LinkedIn to say, hey, Eric, I have been following you for a while. I've been reading your posts. I really want to work with you. At 14 years old. And he told me straight to the point that he doesn't have any working experience, but he just wants to work in a company for free. He don't need any allowance, any salary. He just wants to spend his summer holiday with the company to see how a startup works. And that really impressed me, because I think that's a number one rule as an entrepreneur, really to be very focused. Just go for things that you really want to try and dare to ask. And with that, it actually really inspired me. Until now, I'm in contact with the 14-year-old boy. He has always asking me, how's my startup, how have I been, and he always want to join me when there's a holiday. So that really, inspired me to really help more younger entrepreneurs like him, because he told me during his summer holiday that one day, he will want to create his own startup when he graduated. Yeah,
Mm.
so
How old is he
yeah, that
now?
was very. Now he's already 16. Yeah, like it was 2 years
Okay.
ago. Yeah. So, but I mean, I really like his bold move. You know, like he's very bold. He then text me on LinkedIn, just say, "Hey, can you give me a job?" Yeah. So I was like, "Yeah, sure." Yeah. I mean, let's like looking back myself, I might not be even looking for a job when I'm like 14 years old. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I think at 14 years old, I was just kind of like doing
Yeah,
childish thing.
we are probably playing games, or chilling out during our summer holidays and not looking for a job. Yeah, so it really inspired me, and he is really a smart guy, a very hardworking boy. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Got it. So I think one moment that might be also true for you, at least it is really true for me, that whenever I discuss the idea with someone else, I'm just refining the idea. So quite often in your head, you have the concept and then you're trying to just basically tell it to someone else, and then you just suddenly recognize the pitfalls and the pros and the cons of the idea.
Exactly. You're right. So for me, I mean, sharing is a form of contributing and learning process for me. So no matter like how busy I am, I'll try to to be very engaged on the various sharing platform through LinkedIn, through Facebook. Like at least once a week or twice a week. Just to keep them to updated about the news, about some of the readings that I have realized on the recent trends and so forth. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So talking
Yeah.
about the trends and talking about sharing updates, can you tell a bit
Yeah.
more about what OMNi is and what you do there? Why did you come
Yeah.
to the idea and what's the current stage?
Sure. So OMNi is actually the first super app in Central America and the Caribbean area. We're focusing on four main vertical: mobility, fintech, healthcare, and lifestyle. So for mobility, we cover ranging from short-range vehicles like scooters, bicycles, all the way to long-range vehicles like taxis, buses. For fintech, we focus on the new banking, where we are actually distributing like e-wallets, QR payments, digital microfinancing, and so forth. For lifestyle, it's e-commerce for sure. We're promoting e-commerce in the region. Getting people exposed on online purchase instead of the traditional retail purchase on shopping malls or the retail outlets. And lastly, our last vertical will be healthcare. Promoting telemedicine services, digital medical e-profiles as well, to keep track of all the medical records of individual. So these are the various verticals we have. We started in 2019. Currently, we have close to 600 employees. And now we are busy aggressively expanding our various vertical. And we are starting our next market, which is we started from Costa Rica, and now we're looking at expanding to the neighboring countries like Panama, Nicaragua, Guatemala. So these are the areas that we are focusing on. Why from Asia to Central America? It's a very good question. First of all, personally, I like untapped market because it gives us a very huge opportunity. But at the same time, every market definitely have a pro and con. The pro is the untapped market, the huge opportunity. You get the first mover advantage. But the
Yeah,
con definitely will.
just to interrupt you here, I think it will be
Yeah.
great if we can just give a perspective, because our listeners might not know the like pre-story, and I think that's really fascinating that you moved from Singapore to Central America. So
Yeah.
maybe you could like
Sure.
tell a bit about that as well.
Sure. So I started my startup career in 2016. I run a company, last mile logistic company called Pi and Parcel in 2016. I've been in the Asia space in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, expanding our businesses, meeting different entrepreneurs in the space. But one thing I realized is, it's really full of opportunity as well, but it's very, very competitive. Like for logistics itself, there's probably more than 100 startups in the logistics space, whether from the supply chain to all the way to the last mile logistics. So that's the reason why, for myself, I decided to shift from Asia to Central America, because Central America, in here in Central America, there's less than probably top 20 startups here. We have OMNi, we have Uber, we have Glovo, we have Rappi, and maybe that's all. It's still a very early stage market here. And that's the reason why I see a huge opportunity here. Like I want to, create something more impactful. From Asia, I started from a last mile logistic, very focused on logistic now, to a super app where I cover everything ranging from mobility all the way to healthcare. Why am I moving from a single vertical to a large vertical with everything involved? There's two things. One is I'm very inspired by the successful playbook of Grab and Gojek in Southeast Asia. In Southeast Asia, there's 1,000 language, different religion, but they're able to unify this region as one super app. But in here in Central America, there's only one language, Spanish. So it really inspired me. Like, hey, how come Southeast Asia they can create a one unified super app? Definitely, there's one unified super app in Central America as well. So that really inspired me. Why from Asia to here. Secondly, due to my exposure from Alibaba Global Initiative, it widens up my perspective. Like how can we build a company is something like Alibaba, with so many verticals all in one, from all the way from Alipay all the way to e-commerce, Taobao. Everyone is just using the application. It's like a habit forming product. It's like a bread and butter. When you wake up, you need to, you just need to click the app, because you just need to engage the services, whether from taxi all the way to shopping online or even paying your bills. Yeah. So it really, because of these two main reasons, it really changed my perspective of building a bigger company, a super app in a very untapped region.
So let me just again get back to the moment when you got the OMNi idea. So was it this kind of stuff, like you're sitting in Singapore doing your own startup, and then you're suddenly kind of like, maybe I can do something bigger than that, or how was it?
Yeah, so all along, I knew that I want to do something that's bigger than what I'm building in Asia. It was by chance I met my other founders in Nommi to share about the Central America market. Because for me, I definitely have the experience and the knowledge to run a startup, and I have the exposure of what is a super app. But my partners are the one that actually told me, like, Erik, this is a place where we need to launch a super app, because it's really like a untapped market, full of opportunity. And that's how I get to meet my other founders, Samuel and Moses, where they share with me, and then they make me have a trip down to Central America to take a look what are the opportunities. And then when I was there, it just referred me back to when it was like the 90s of Singapore, when I'm taking the public transport, I'm still paying in coins, and I get a ticket. So it made me realize that, hey, I'm back to the 90s, where it's like Asia. But now in Asia, usually they use card to tap, or even like a QR wallet to pay off the payments. So yeah, it made me realize that, hey, this place is definitely a place where I can really introduce a lot of digital solution. It's really lack of infrastructure. Everything is still so old school. Even documentations are paperwork. Payments are just cash. Just giving you an example, in Costa Rica, the Chinese community here, 80% using cash as a form of transaction, spread across supermarket, restaurants, small retails. And cash is actually a very, very big problem because there is like fake notes, robberies, miscalculation of cash. This is a pain point to a lot of Chinese merchants based in Costa Rica. And there is no other solution. But back in China, they are being exposed to like Alipay, WeChat Pay. But here, they are exposed to none of such solutions. Yeah.
And did you have any other options besides Central America?
For us now, we will be very, very focused on Central America because in Asia, definitely it's too late for us to penetrate right now because with the likes of Grab, Gojek, they are a very, very established player. In the US, we have Uber, we have Rides, but here in Central America, there's none. So I think that's definitely our main focus. And Central America area plus the Caribbean itself is already 95 million population. So it's definitely a good space for us to be around.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand like how the logic worked for you. So for example, you understood that you want to do kind of like, let's say, super app for some other region that is non-penetrated at the moment. And then you're starting to look at the map and try to understand like what's left, or how has it been for you?
Yeah, for sure. I think the learning curve here is like it's really different because the education process is the key to the success here. Because when we are on the streets, or the users, they require a lot of educational process. They will be asking like, is QR safe? What is QR? How do you use QR? Even like for ride sharing and bike sharing, they're really not exposed to such services. So it requires time and education for the consumer to really understand what is a super app concept. So even like now, we're running meetings with different partners, with like taxi companies or payment companies. They are always asking me, what is a super app? And I have to explain to them like, hey, this is not just a single app application. It's all connected, where everybody can just use this application for everything in life.
Yeah, and the other question that I have, based on my understanding, in Southeast Asia, or let's say in China, super apps are really popular. So you can do whatever you want at WeChat. However, if we look at US market, for example, there are no like true super apps there. There are like blocks and conglomerates, but there are no super apps. And I was wondering, like, did you ever have a question if like, let's say, North America and Central America and South America are the markets where people just are not really appreciating super apps, and if there are at all markets that are not good for the super apps?
Yeah. Okay. So for this is a very, very good question. So for US, right? In the US or in Europe, they are really exposed to many technology solutions. But here in Central America, at least, is they have no options. So when we first, so I can share with you a bit about our strategy. So when we first started, right, with OMNi, we actually launched bike sharing, focusing on mobility. Deploying the different bikes around town to let people use. With that launch, we see that there are very good response. Currently we have close to 700,000 downloads of OMNi application because people are very excited to use the bikes that's out on the street. They are very curious, hey, how does this bike sharing platform works, and so forth. So I would say, because they are not exposed, every time we launch a new solution, we see a spike in downloads. Yes. After the bikes, we launched the taxi. There's another spike in downloads. People are really, appreciative about the taxis that are being on board. Why they are very interested is because of COVID now. There are actually restrictions. On Monday to Friday, you can only be out until 10 p.m. and on Saturday, Sunday it's only until 8 p.m. And for public cars, they are actually a rotational. So with an odd number, you only can travel on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then with even number car plates, you can travel on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So with that restriction all in place, taxi has become the only option to travel during restriction. Again, we provide a right solution at the right time. So even like Uber is here, they can't perform rides during restriction.
I
Again,
see.
because of this, our taxi spiked in terms of downloads again. Correct. So I would say the opportunity plus the lack of exposure of technology has give the consumer or Central America users like a new level of experience.
Okay, I see that. And talking about the company formation, you told me that you have like 2 partners, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. So currently, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So currently, we have Samuel and Moses together with myself, and also our local CEO Najib as well. So total, there's 4 of us that's managing the whole OMNi business.
And talking about your 2 partners, like how do you split responsibilities and which kind of experience each of you brings to the team?
Yeah, sure. So for our chairman, which is Moses, he has been running businesses in Central America for decades. So he definitely have the right network, the right partnership, the right knowledge. And then for Samuel, he's more of a strategy guy. He has been exposed. He has been to Singapore, China, Vietnam, in Southeast Asia to meet different startups to gain the different strategies and insight of how to run a startup and what are the success solution that's played in Central America, in Asia to bring to Singapore. And then for myself, definitely will be bringing the knowledge and also my network in Asia to Central America. For example, like when we are rolling out our EVs scooter platform, we strike a partnership with one of the largest EV scooter maker in Taiwan to bring the scooter from Taiwan to Central America.
Yeah, that's something that's really interesting to me. But I'll just try not to ask this question like way too early, like how transportation thing works and so on and so forth. So let's pause and let's talk about the employees, because when you told me like, hey, we're covering like financial sector and mobility and e-commerce and like sounds like everything, and I was like, how many people are you? About 600, if I'm not mistaken. It's really a large number. So I wonder, like, how did you get all of them? Like, was it like first you grew to 50, then like in the same period of time to 100 and more, or you just had a big jumps when you hired? And what was the experience?
So for us, our strategy is very simple. At various vertical, we have the vertical directors. For example, like mobility, there's a mobility director, fintech, the lifestyle, and the healthcare. So over the last, at least 1.5 years, things are moving really very quickly. And in fact, this is one of my challenge as well. Managing 600 people in the course of like one over plus year. It's really crazy because sometimes you lose count or you don't even remember like this is a new hire or so forth because it's growing too fast. We actually run like a every weekly directors meeting with the directors to keep each another posted on what are the hirings, what are the developments, what are some of the challenges, to keep everyone on the same page. Because end of the day, super app is not like, you know, your individual vertical. It's a combination of everyone. For example, if you are taking a taxi in a mobility, you will require QR payments to make payments for the trip. If you are like e-commerce, you at the checkout page, you require a QR payment as well. So it's an application that's interconnected. So that's the reason why I focus a lot on communication with the directors, to be aware what are they doing, what are the challenges, so that we can you know, work together as a team, as a super app.
And how much time did it take for you to get from the idea stage to the like first MVP launch?
It took us around 6 months, you know, from ideal stage to build up and setting up the branding, setting up the team, coming out with the first product, was about 6 months. So what we do is in OMNi is that we always believe in striking partnership with established applications. So for example, like the one I mentioned around the Taiwan scooter, we can develop our application ourselves. We can you know, do R&D on the software, you know, on the EVs, on the batteries. But we decide not to. We decide to actually work with partners that are strong in that various vertical. So that's why it gives us an advantage, like why we can grow so quickly over the last 1.5 years.
Yeah, but to be honest, to be honest, I have this idea that if you're coming from and maybe partially it also relates to Southeast Asia, then your speed on average will be way higher versus the speed of, like, let's say EU startups, or like maybe in some cases like US startups. It feels like there is kind of like this push that, hey, I need to do it like really fast. Do you think that's really true? Can you relate to that?
Yeah, this is it's really I mean, this question is very relevant, because I mean, I'm being born and raised in Asia. I started business in Asia. I work in a very high stress, high speed environment. So when I started here, it's really a bit different. People tend to be a bit more chill. Yeah, a bit more chill, and things are not moving as quickly as possible. That's the reason why, you know, for me, I'm trying to bring the Singapore way, at least over here, the culture, and say, hey, give me, you know, and not say tomorrow. If they say yes, I'll say yes. Okay, when, by when, and how, you know, to make sure that everything is in place. Um, that's the reason why I'm looking at you know, bringing more you know, talent from Asia to the company as well, to set up like role models and bring in that kind of Alibaba culture here. Because in Alibaba, there's this saying, they call themselves the what they call it, 99997 army. Means they work from 9 to 9, 7 days a week. Yeah, so I'm trying to, yeah. That would be really
sorry. I'm a frequent listener to 996 podcast made by JGV Capital. So
yeah,
it's something, that I totally understand.
yeah. It used to be 996. Now it changed. I mean, we're just joking, you know, within our like Alibaba group. It's now it's 997. It's no longer just Monday to Saturday. It's Monday to Sunday. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is very true. I think the working culture here is definitely different from Asia. But I'm pushing very hard, you know, to tell them that, you know, we are a startup. We are not a traditional business. We need to work extremely hard, extremely fast, in order to differentiate ourselves from a tech company as compared to a traditional company. Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell a bit more about this Alibaba initiative that you've been a part of? I'm really like super interested because Alibaba seems like a huge superpower,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
wonder how it has been like. How did you get there? What did you do
Yeah.
there? What
Yeah.
was the outcome?
Yeah, sure. So the Alibaba Global Initiative, right? The main idea is to pass down whatever Alibaba have done successfully in terms of culture, how they run business, how they think deeper of building solution, customer first, all this knowledge to entrepreneur outside China in Southeast Asia. So how they actually shortlist entrepreneur is based on three verticals: e-commerce, fintech, and logistics.
Mm-hmm.
So because of my previous startup that I'm in the logistics space, so I was eligible to be one of the entrepreneur to be
Mm-hmm.
shortlisted to be part of the program. So throughout the program, you will learn like how Alibaba have grown over the last 10 years, starting from just a team of 10 to 20 people to all the way to now like a few thousand employees. Uh, yes, the size have changed, but the belief, the vision, the mission, um, the way to approach business has never changed. It's always customer first, helping businesses, help them grow. So this is something that we learn. At the same time, this main idea of this initiative is to foster partnership across Southeast Asia entrepreneurs. So for example, myself, like let's say I'm entering the Malaysian market, the Indonesian market. I have friends through this initiative, the entrepreneurs, to help me open the path to that market. So that is the main idea of this initiative. Now, one is to introducing the Alibaba way. On another side is to foster partnership, getting friendships through this program. Even till now, we are very connected to the various partners from different overseas. So when sometimes they come to Singapore or I go to Malaysia or Indonesia, we communicate, we catch up, and share about what are some of the challenges. Especially during COVID, we actually do a lot of Zoom call during that period to share up and downs of our businesses and how can we help each another through these tough times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how many people are you in the initiative?
Currently, our aim is to build 1,000 entrepreneurs across Southeast Asia for this global initiative.
Okay.
But for my batch, there's total 48 entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did you apply to get there, or you're just like chosen by someone?
We have to apply and go through interviews by the Alibaba team to see whether they will fit into the category that they're looking for, which is a three like e-commerce, fintech, as well as logistics. Because these three, why these three verticals? Because these are the three iron triangle of Alibaba.
Mm-hmm.
They started
Mm-hmm.
from e-commerce and then payments and then logistics, which is
Mm-hmm.
Taobao, and finance and China. These are the three. That's the reason why these three, because they are specialized and they are good at these three verticals. That's the reason why they're looking for entrepreneurs around these verticals so that they can bring the right set of knowledge and know-how to the entrepreneurs around this vertical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And talking
Yeah.
about know-how, does it work this way that, let's say you're taking let's say Gojek and Alibaba playbook for the super app,
Yeah.
like how to make super app, and then you're just checking out the boxes like, hey, I need to do this,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it works, or there is a lot of customization needed.
Yeah, of course. I would say the similarity of all super app is yes and no. The yes is definitely you need to find the first key product that can attract users. Like for Grab, it's definitely the taxis and mobility. Gojek is, yes, the taxis and mobility, but they focus more on the scooter in Indonesia. So you see there's some similarity, but at the same time, they need to find the unique selling point at the very, very start. For Alibaba, it's definitely e-commerce. Buying online, Taobao is their first start, and then they lead to their fintech and lead to their logistics. So for us in OMNi, we started from mobility, but we focus on bike sharing because the culture here in Central America, the cycle bike culture is very, very strong. On the street, you can see people are heavily investing in mountain bikes, branded bikes, because that's their form of entertainment or a form of relaxation when they like to do bikings around here. So on the street, you can see like bikes that are really expensive, like 6,000, 7,000 USD. They can invest very heavily on bikes. And that's the reason why we wanted to introduce like bike sharing. So it gives the consumer or the public a form of access to entertainment, or even like for their short distance travel between maybe their home to office to their lunch, and so forth. Yeah. So I would say we have similar approach, but the DNA is definitely different because it really depends on the localization.
Okay.
Really depends on the localization. But first, the key is to find the first product that creates a huge impact, so that people will start looking at you, start downloading, and then from there you will branch out to different things. Why from bikes we move to taxi? Because that's the various mode of transport. Bikes only can travel for short distance. You can't travel in bikes for 3-4 hours. Yeah, that's another mode of transport, which is taxi, the bus, and so forth. Yeah.
And based on your experience, what are the key success factors for super apps? Because as far as I understand this, frequency of usage is really like super critical. So the more frequent the usage is, the more engaged audience you have, and the more you sell, also like accounting for extra products.
Yes. I think the heart of all super app is definitely the fintech, the e-wallet. Okay. Because for example, when you first download a super app, I ask you to top up like $200-300 to your wallet, right? You will say no, because you say, hey, maybe I don't want to get myself exposed too much on the digital wallet. But when it's a success, people start topping up, like a few $100s, a few $1,000s, because they know that they will be using the services throughout the entire month, the entire week. That is a true success, because you can see that it's like you holding a cash. Why do you hold cash? Because you hold cash because you know that the cash can buy you food, can buy you transport, can buy you like other things that you need. But if you start putting the cash into the wallet, it means you start realizing that you actually you need to depend a lot on the services that's on the platform itself. Yeah. So for me, a success is definitely the number of hours, the number of the time spent on the application. At the same time, the frequency, like how often do you open up the app, and lastly is the size of your wallet and the average ticket size of per services that you start to spend on the application.
Yeah. Well, I see. Okay. So we talked about like fintech part of the story a bit. I'm really interested in this transportation story, and specifically in how ecological ambitions of the region play a role there. Because I see that globally there's a high push towards like no emissions and like eco taxes. However, at least in Kazakhstan, I know that there are a few companies doing this, and there are lots of troubles like how to charge the taxes and how to manage this charging process effectively. Like, do you have something similar in the region, and how do you approach it?
Yeah, I think for many countries or the regions is pushing for the go green, sustainable transportation. Just giving you a fun fact, in Costa Rica, you know, it relies 98% renewable, and it actually utilized 98% of the renewable energy since 2015 in Costa Rica. So you can see that this is a very go green focused country, at least for this region. And in Singapore, the land transport actually rolled out a master plan for 2014 to roll out zero emission targets. So I would say in general, different regions, different countries are pushing towards sustainability, go green transportation. In the lights with Tesla having their cars around, and many motor providers are already pushing out, like BMW are already pushing out go green cars. So this is definitely going to be the future of transportation. In fact, those petrol or diesel cars, I'm calling them like cars with cancer pipes. Yeah. So soon they will be expired. People will stop using them, and people will move towards go green. But I would say now it's still a very, very early stage, even at Singapore level. Not talking about other regions. People are still adopting because the thing is that they are not exposed to a lot of charging stations compared to petrol stations everywhere, where you can just easily find. But for a charging station, you need to go to a particular spot where it's being installed. You need to go and charge. So it's definitely very, very early. And for us, at least OMNi, we focus a lot on a battery swapping solution rather than stationary charging. So like the partners that we work with the Taiwan providers, they are focusing on battery swaps. So we actually will install battery stations at a particular area. People can then change and swap. It works very similar to the petrol station concept. You go there, you pump petrol, done, full tank, you can leave. So the battery swapping is the same. Because we realize that parking your car there to charge for half an hour and 1 hour is very ineffective. At the same time, countries like Singapore or other smaller countries, land is very limited and it's expensive. Imagine you stop your car there for half an hour just for charging. It's not going to be long term. Yeah.
And when you're talking about like this approach towards charging, is it that you're basically looking at Singapore and what Singapore or Southeast Asia does, and then try to reapply the thing, or there is a high level of customization needed?
Definitely there's high level of customization needed. For Singapore side, it's a lot on the regulations because this is definitely a new technology. In Singapore, you can see more common solution will be the plug and play stationary charging, but battery swapping solution it's not out there. So in terms of Singapore side is more of regulations because they want to know the safety requirements of how this thing works. Does it create any fire hazard or harm to the public? But here in Central America, it's more focused on cost. Why would I want to switch from a petrol bikes or petrol car to an EV car or EV bikes? Definitely, what are the advantages in terms of cost? It's really different approach. Yeah, one is more focusing on putting the green as the priority. Cost is not an issue. Go green and safety is a priority. Cost is not a main issue, but here is cost is a main issue. Like because the people that will be using the bikes are food delivery company like Uber Eats, Glovo. These are the people that are be utilizing these bikes for their livelihood or for work. So they need to look at cost. If the cost of renting an EV bike is higher than a petrol, then they will consider twice.
Okay, got it. And I think you had a really interesting point on like countries' differences. The question I
Yeah.
have in my mind is like, what would be maybe like a few suggestions or recommendations that you would give to the folks that are starting business in an area that is really different from where they lived before, and like in a totally new region?
Yeah. So for me, I think the key thing is you must be able to launch whether your services or your product to gather a lot of market feedback and change quickly. That I think that is the key because for me, like launching these products here, my first thing on the ground is to really gather a lot of market data because here, right, there's no market data about in the region. It's not like Asia. You can know like how many taxis, how many bikes, and everything. In Central America, there's no like a area for you to find you need to you need to create a survey, be on the ground, talk to people, and you will know what are the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think this is something that is a bit different from here and compared to the Asia. When Asia, you can just Google and say, hey, what is the, what's the downloads, what are the users and so on. But here is there's nothing close here. Everything is in-house. You have to be on the ground to gather informations and try and error.
Yeah,
Try
so
and
it's
error to see what
totally
are
a
the
wide
feedback.
space,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's again the pro and con, because people are not looking into data here right now. People are just in the traditional business, buy and sell, focusing on traditional. People don't think data is like a resources. In Asia, data is like gold, like the new
Mm.
gold. It tells you how to better understand the consumer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, um, Getting to your overall experience,
Yes.
I can call you a serial entrepreneur. So, how being a serial entrepreneur helps you? What does it make it easier, if anything?
Uh, I I think being a serial entrepreneur, I think the biggest pro is that I'm used to um, all kinds of stress, you know, um, meeting roadblocks, changing the idea of my first thought to the last stage is pretty normal. Meaning that when I started something, I thought this was a good solution, but when I'm launched in the market tell me another answer is it's not working. You need to pivot and all. Has been part and parcel of my whole entrepreneur story. I'm used to changes. In short, I'm used to changes. I learn to adapt quickly and pivot quickly if I know it's not working. Yeah,
Mm.
and when I won't be very demoralized because I know running a tech company changes is required, even like in the likes of like Grab, Uber, they are changing every day. They're
Mm-hmm.
changing everything to adapt. Even like now, COVID has kicked in. Businesses are rethinking how can we do things differently to adopt to these changes. Yeah.
And how quickly is quickly? And the reason I'm asking this question because it bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
So on one side, I'm always kind of like, maybe you need to do some extra of this and it will start working. On the other side, you're kind of like, hey, if it's not working right now at the moment, maybe you need to switch to something else, balance this. How do you decide if it's time to move?
Yeah. So for me, my personal timeline is on a week-to-week basis. I will measure the growth to see how is it growing. Is it growing on a double digit? If it's growing very slowly, then yes, I'll reconsider. But if it's growing on a double digit, yes, it's on track. Usually, I'll set a 3 to 6 month goal to see does it grow according to it. By the 6 month, for the first 3 months, I can tell myself, hey, I spent 1 month to build, the second month to educate, and the third month to see result. But after 3 months, I'll say, hey, why not I give myself another extension 3 months to really fully focus on on seeing how the market react the next 3 months. So total for myself, I'll give 6 months to see whether the product work. Yeah. If not, I have to pivot along the way. Yeah.
And here, well, I guess we'll come to the question: do you know that you're doing the right thing? Like, do you have this just like numeric metrics, you measure sales purely, or you measure like a set of metrics, or you have this like general feeling everything is going fine? How do you look at this?
For sure, wherever business we do, we need to look at the key metrics. For us, it's definitely, for at least a super app, is the number of downloads, the number of time spent on our application, the stickiness of our product. Like, let's say for example, like yourself, like how many times will you book our taxi through our application? Is it once a week, two times a week, once a day, twice a day? And how can we improve that kind of frequency? So that's the key metrics that we are looking at. And you know, like for example, the users that have been using taxi, have he start using the QR? You know, after he used the QR, have he start shopping online through our application? I think these are the various things. What we call it a super user. We want a particular user to be, you know, connected in all various verticals. And you can see that from this super user, they are spending more time, more money on the application itself. Yeah. So these are definitely the key metrics that we have to look at how we are going as well. Yeah.
Got it. And if we'll talk about like personal goals, not just like business related goals, but personal goals, do you set them up? And the reason why I'm asking is because like for quite a few people, they would say like, hey, I have business goals, but on the personal side, I prefer not to have specific goals. But some are using this. Like, do you use this goal-driven approach? And
Yes.
if yes, how? If no, why?
Yeah. For me, I would not say like a specific goal, but I will set like a timeline for myself. So at least for the next OMNi 5-year journey, we want to see ourselves as the leading super app. You know, I mean, when we started, we are the first super app in Central America and Caribbean area. So at least the next four years, which reach our 5 years anniversary, I want to see OMNi as the leading super app in Central America and Caribbean areas, where everybody have downloaded our app, at least use our service once or twice, whether from any vertical. And for the next another 5 years, which is a 10-year roadmap, is, you know, being the #1 super application where everyone is talking about it, everyone knows about OMNi, and yes, you know, we can look at the bigger picture of, you know, getting listing in US market and so forth. But for now, our very focus is to build this digital infrastructure and solution in Central America to help consumer to get access of better solutions to increase or to help in their lifestyle, at the same time create more jobs as well. Because through our platform, we have create additional revenue for taxi drivers. We have create a cheaper payment solution to the retailers. Giving you a very example, for a small retailer to accept, you know, credit card payments, it charge as low as 5% to 12% processing fee. In Asia, it's average 3%. And at 3%, people are already complaining it's very, very high. Here, it's minimum 5%. And a small retailer, maybe like one small restaurant that's owned by a couple, can be charged 12%. Imagine you are spending a bill of $100, they're paying $12 just to processing fee. And now with the lights of COVID, it's going to add additional stress to their business. And that's the reason why many retail and restaurants in Central America is closing down, because the cost of running business is really too high. And with our solutions coming into picture, we hope we can really help the retailers, the merchants to have much more cost saving and provide a more efficient way of helping them. You know, beside the payments, because of their payments, we collect data. We can tell the merchant what is selling better, what is not selling better, and what are the things to buy in stock and what are the things that are not required. So to have better cost control and better sales strategy as well.
So why I'm smiling is because we ended up talking business, but let's get back to like to the personal thing. I'm really interested if there is like a person like human being besides a businessman.
Yeah. I would say my idol is definitely Jack Ma, because he really inspired me a lot. How he has, you know, grown from an underdog to the #1 billionaire in China. He has really inspired me, like how he has, you know, grown from nothing to something, you know, without affected by the different noises around him. You know, when he first started, people would say, hey, you know, this guy is crazy. You know, he's not going to work out. It's happening to us here right now as well. You know, when we first launched the bike sharing, everybody was like, hey, this group of guys is crazy, man. Their bikes will be stolen. Nobody will be using their bikes. But apparently it turns out differently. So that kind of feeling is something that I don't think money can buy. You know, it's something that, hey, you know, it's your idea and you make this a success. People are using it on the street. You know, when sometimes I'm driving, I see people ride the bikes to school, to work, and you know, the kind of achievement is really different. So from my personal perspective is, even, you know, after I successfully build OMNi, I'll be running, you know, like another startup. It's already part and parcel of my life. You know, introducing solution where people can use, give me lots of satisfaction, and see how you know, really we can bring value to the country, to the region as well. So on a personal perspective, I'm always keeping a lookout, like what are the business opportunity. Yeah. So and I'm still young, so I don't think I'm going to retire anytime soon. At least for the next 10 to 20 years. Yeah. Yeah.
I see. So can you name a few of the other people that inspire you? Who will it be?
Elon Musk do inspire me, but sometimes I think he's too extreme. Yeah, but yeah, sometimes he's just very futuristic, but a bit too extreme for me sometimes. That's the reason why I prefer Jack Ma, because Jack Ma always creates solution to solve existing pain point. You know, for Elon Musk, he focus on creating a solution for more of a futuristic solution. It's really different. It's like, for example, he's looking at how to create spaceship to Mars because he believes that, you know, the Earth is going to crash over the next few decades. But where Jack Ma is not, Jack Ma is focusing on like, hey, you know, I know that, you know, we need payment solution because the banking system right now in China is not working. I need to create my own. So it's a different approach. Yeah, but both inspire me because when you're in the tech space, you definitely need to be further ahead of traditional business. You need to visualize the future. For example, like EVs, to me, is now too early, but I know that 10, 20 years down the road, it will be all on the streets.
I see.
Yeah, so this both give me my inspiration. Like one is the future guy, and one is the existing
and
guy.
then you just put yourself in the middle and try to bounce.
Correct. Because why I say so is because when first Grab and Gojek launched during the early days, I was very skeptical myself, you know, because I was not exposed to Grab and Gojek. But as I see them grow and looking back at China, I told myself I regret I should have been in the space much earlier. And now when I'm into Central America, I like, hey, this is my opportunity. I already have missed the first wave. You know, now I'm coming back. Yeah.
Mm.
So like
And
it just give me a feeling I have a second chance in my life to make this big. Yeah.
yeah, I can feel you here. And if we talk about Gojek and Grab, are those like really closed teams, or building something in Central Asia, you can just like come to them and ask them like what worked, what didn't work, like what can you suggest?
Okay, so for us, we are always keeping a lookout on the various super app around the world.
Mm.
You know, looking at what they are doing better and so forth. And again, leveraging on my partners, right? Because they are the local guys, they have the local networks. You know, it's a hybrid. You know, you can look at
Okay.
what other people's success stories and blend into the local knowledge. With this, we will push to the market and test, and the market will tell us whether our products or the solution is it validated. How is it validated? It's very simple. If there's a customer that are willing to pay, means your solution is working, because it's a pain point that people are willing to pay to exchange to ease their pain.
I see. I see.
Yeah, so that's the approach for us. We want to create products that are like painkillers, are not vitamins. You know, when you eat the pill, it reduce the pain, and not like just eating vitamins. It's just for protection purposes. It's really solving the immediately pain point. Yeah.
Cool. And I think we can continue our discussion, but
Yeah.
let's just like pause here,
Yeah.
and I, I will be watching like how you guys develop and how you grow, and based on what I've heard, I think it will be a bi-weekly approach to like to get double-digit growth. So I'm really like
Yes,
excited
we are
about.
required to help the company grow, right? If you don't do this on a frequent basis, you will get lost very easily. You know, because you feel that, hey, we are very contented, we are at this space, but with a frequent tracking on the KPIs and all, you will know that, hey, I'm doing well this week, I'm not doing well this week. And is it some of the strategy we use are not correct, or is it that new competitor that's came into the space, hence the drop in our growth? So this is something we focus a lot in terms of monitoring our growth as well.
Mm, cool.
Yeah, but I would say the number one rule for running a business is definitely human resource. Yeah, human resource is the most painful factor for me running a business. Yeah.
Why is it so?
As a team grow bigger and bigger, right? You realize things really can't move as fast as last time. You know, when you're a team of 30, 20, 50 people, you know, everyone can motivate everyone. Hey, no, we need to make this happen, break it or make it. Everyone has the motivation. But as the company grow big, um, the message that's bring down, you know, to the different level has dilute along the way. Yeah. So this is something that I think Alibaba has done very, very well. Because when I was in the program, you can pick any staff in the company and ask, hey, what's the vision? The mission, they can tell you by heart. They remember by heart. So this is something that is very inspiring. You know, like anyone, like even anyone from the customer service, anyone from the admin department will know, say yes, our vision is to make business easy for everyone. Our vision is to be here for the next 103 years. And everyone know the vision, the values as well. Customer first. So this is something that I think Jack Ma has done very well. Yeah. So like
Got
setting
it.
up the Alibaba culture. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Then it was great like having you in the talk. I really enjoyed the talk, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I appreciate for this opportunity, and yeah, I'm willing to share more and definitely keep you posted on our developments. And yeah, if you're in here in Central America, we're happy to pick you up in the airport with our OMNi taxis. Yeah, to let you have the first-hand experience. Yeah.